to Next Goal Wins. Today, we're talking transfers, about every club, how I rate them, how I rank, what everyone did. We've got a bit of a new layout today. I don't know if you've noticed. Hopefully this will stay. If you all like it, please leave a comment below letting me know. So yeah, let's start by grading each club then. First club, Arsenal. So Arsenal, one man in, a lot of people out. A lot of people out, but not big players. You know, it's Podolski to Galatasaray. People like that, and then one player in, Petr Cech, the goalkeeper we all know about, who people said would make them title contenders. For me, it's not that easy. I don't think it's going to make them title contenders by any stretch of the imagination. To be honest, I'm not sure we're going to finish top 2, top 3. I think City are a much stronger side. Chelsea are definitely a stronger side than Arsenal. And I can't understand Wenger. I don't know why he does it every year. If I was an Arsenal fan, it would infuriate me. For 5-10 years, since Vieira left at least, we've known that they've needed a central midfielder, a defensive central midfielder. There have been loads available in this transfer window. All he's got to do is get out and get one. But he doesn't, he leaves it. And then the other position they really need, a striker, a goal scorer who can get you goals a season, 20 a year, not like Giroud. Wenger used to have pace in his side. His early days at Monaco, at Arsenal, he always had a pacey striker, and he doesn't have that anymore. And I think he's bought too many of the same players. So for me, for their grade, I'm going for a C, and the C can stand for Czech. But then we've got AFC Bournemouth, find himself second on this list just because of the A in front of AFC. So yeah, Bournemouth, I think, did pretty good business. Obviously, they bought Max Gradel as a kind of their marquee signing. A man who scored 17 goals last season in Ligue 1 for Saint-Etienne. And as is always the way, he's ruptured his cruciate ligament, out for 6 months at the minimum. And Bournemouth fans can't be happy about that. And Tyrone Mings, their other big signing. Look what's happened to him. Another injury, plagued by injuries, both against Leicester, funnily enough. But they weren't like tackles, just kind of impact ones, which are always worse. I think, you know, flashbacks of Michael Owen come into your head when you think about off the ball. But anyway, who else did they bring in? Not really too many massive players. Deadline day, they brought in Glenn Murray. A few people kind of like that, and I still feel like Bournemouth are going to fall short. I mean, they brought Sylvain Distin in, but he hasn't had any game time yet, and I feel like Bournemouth just haven't got enough still there. They didn't really lose too many players, which is kind of key for them. That squad that came from the Championship is the same squad they've got now, and they play lovely football, but I do think Gradel's going to hurt them, and I think they should have bought someone more on deadline day who could kind of make an impact. So for me, I'm going to go for a B- for Bournemouth. Next up, we've got Aston Villa. Villa have brought in a lot of players, a lot of players, and they've lost 2 massive players. I think that's the key thing. They lost Benteke. Yes, they got over 30 million for him, but is it worth losing him when you look at their goals for the past few seasons? It's really just been him. And who's the man who's given it to them? Fabian Delph. They lost him as well to sit on the bench at Man City, alongside a lot of nice people on the Man City bench, I'm sure. You know, it's filling up as it is at the moment. Nasri can give up his seat maybe to Delph. But yeah, they gave away really those 2 players. I don't think they should have given them both away in the same transfer window. Away from that, like I said, bringing players in. They've brought in the 2 from Nantes, and Amalvi. They've brought in a lot of players. They've brought in AU. They've brought in Adama Traore from Barcelona, and I think Traore is the best signing. I think he looked quality when he came on against Palace, and I think he will be a really high quality player. It's just if they get enough game time around him. And they still miss that massive focal point up front for me. Yes, I know they got Rudiger Stead in from Blackburn, who came on a big fee, but I don't think he's going to be a goal scorer to get him loads of goals. Having said that, I think they've bought enough to keep them safe. I think Sherwood's done a pretty good job this transfer window, so I'm going to give them a B+. Reigning champions Chelsea. And I'm going to start off straight away by saying it's a massively disappointing window for Chelsea. They brought in Pedro, obviously, as their star man, and then a lot of people who they think have got talent. I mean, Hector from Reading, a centre-half, I'm not really sure what that one's about. Djibouti from Nantes, they brought in other players like that, young players who really need developing. And yes, Pedro's a good signing. We know what Pedro's like. People will say he's an outcast from Barcelona, but then so was Alexis Sanchez before he came to Arsenal, and look what he's done. So, you know, I don't think it's one like that where it's as cut and dry as Pedro's an outcast from Barcelona. Having said that, I don't think he's a massive marquee signing. I think Chelsea needed. All the clubs around him have strengthened. I mean, look at Man City. Look at how much Man City have spent. Chelsea used to be this driving force. Where is it? Where was that marquee signing? Yes, talking about this Paul Pogba and Marquinhos on the last day. Why leave it to the last day? Get someone in. Your Chelsea Football Club. You've got loads of money. You've just won the Premier League. You're in the Champions League. Going to really push for Champions League, and you can't attract any real players. For me, unbelievably disappointing. Obviously, they've had a treacherous start to the season, and hopefully for them it doesn't get worse, but I don't see it getting massively better. I think City will win the title this year, and I do think Mourinho's going to look back on this transfer window and be upset by not doing much business. So for me, it's a C for Chelsea, the same as I gave Arsenal. Next up, Crystal Palace, Pardew's Palace. They brought in Cabaye, that's a big one. Cabaye is a big signing. They brought in Sacco, probably the best free transfer I can remember for a long time. He started brilliantly his career at Palace. Palace didn't really let too many players go that they needed to anyway. Held on to Balassi, a massive, massive key for them. Yes, sold Glenn Murray, but not a big player. And like I said, the Cabaye one is a massive bit of business. Cabaye was a quality player when he was at Newcastle and he started his life in the Premiership really, really well. Sacco, like I said, a really good free transfer. Pardew, I think, will be very pleased with what he did with his transfer window. I think the Palace fans will be happy with what he did with his transfer window. So all in all, I'm going to give Palace an A for their transfer business. Next up, Everton. Everton, what am I going to give them then for transfer business? I'm going to give Everton a C. I don't think Everton have improved massively in this transfer window. Yes, they bought Aaron Lennon, Tom Cleverley, kind of people who are, I guess you'd say, Premier League proven. Cleverley isn't, to me, but yeah, I mean, Lennon is. Lennon's always a player I've kind of rated despite having no end product. Away from that, you know, bringing in this striker from River Plate, £9.5 million, not for me. Holding on to players was key for them. Yes, I've got Barkley still there. Obviously had a poor season last season, which kind of helped them holding on to him. They've still got Seamus Coleman there. They've still got kind of the players there, but will help them have a good season. They won't have a season like last season, Everton. So for me, I'm going to give them a B for transfer business, just for not losing anyone, really. I mean, they didn't get anyone special in, but I don't think they needed to because I think the squad underperformed last season. I think Martinez is happy with what he has there. Next up then, we've got Leicester City, my club. Leicester, I'm going to give us a B for transfer business, a B+. I think I was unbelievably happy with who we brought in. Inla, Okazaki, experience in Inla, the newness in Okazaki, bringing in Kante, who looks a real quality player, Ben Lawani just as a bit of backup, and the players we let go of Chris Wood, who obviously started well at Leeds but didn't make an impact for us and got a good fee for him. Nugent got an unbelievably good fee for him because he scores goals in the Championship from Borough. So I'm really happy with our onset and offset of spending. Yes, for us it's a lot of money to spend £7.5 million on a player, but in today's market it's nothing. Kind of people like Okazaki, and spending that money doesn't really make a dent in the wallet. And Nathan Dyer on deadline day, I think it's a really good loan to get in. He's a kind of an impact player now, but his pace is vital. I talked about it more on a video I did yesterday just about Leicester. But yeah, I think it's a massive coup getting Dyer on loan. Not really because he's a massive player, but because I think he'll improve our squad when he comes off the bench. Then we've got Liverpool. Brendan Rodgers Liverpool, the team who really needed striking options, and they did it. They bought Benteke for £32.5 million. He's got goals so far. Besides from that, they didn't really lose too many players. Obviously lost their main man, Steven Gerrard, but that was always going to happen. And didn't really lose anyone else, not like a Suarez last summer, which really cost them last season. Benteke, do I think it's the signing they needed? I think Firmino's a better signing for him. I think Firmino will prove to be a better player than Benteke is. Yes, I know Benteke's got Premier League qualities, as people will say, but Firmino is a really quality player. I'm not sure £32.5 million for Benteke is an amount I'd have paid. Yes, obviously you look at Martial for Man United, who I'll come on to in a minute, £36 million, but £32.5 million isn't an amount I got to pay. But time will tell with Benteke. If they get the right support from him, he will score goals. So for Liverpool in this transfer window, with Firmino and we're bringing in Benteke and obviously the other few, I'm going to give them a B+ as well. Next up then, we have got Manchester City. Now, Man City, I'm going to say already, is an A star for transfer business. Held on to everyone they needed to and brought in quality. Massive, massive, massive transfer window for them. Literally spending over 150, I think it was even £160 million in the end. Nicolas Otamendi coming in, a centre-half from Valencia, world-class Otamendi is. A real overlooked player in La Liga last season, Otamendi. Really great talent to bring in for 30 million. In today's market, for a player like that, it's not really too much. Next then, Raheem Sterling, 49 million. Obviously, that is a lot of money. It got a lot of press at the time, how much they spent on a young player. But, you know, he's proved so far that he really is a different dimension in that City attack that lets them burst down the wings. Talking of the other wing, it's the big one. Kevin De Bruyne, £55 million was paid for Kevin De Bruyne. Maybe even 56, 57, 58. You don't know, it was undisclosed the last few million, but 55 million on Kevin De Bruyne. An amazing season last season. Hasn't started well though this season for Wolfsburg. So I'm sure that kind of played in Wolfsburg's mind. We can let him go because we're getting Draxler in, who they eventually got in. But City have got a really good player. If he plays like last season, they've got an incredible player who will not just help him in the league, but in the Champions League as well. And I do think De Bruyne is a really good signing. He is world class on his day. Can thread a pass through. I mean, 20 assists don't lie in a professional league, one of the top 5 leagues in Bundesliga, 20 assists. And to chip in with over 10 goals is magnificent. Like I said, those are the 3 big ones. And for City to not lose Aguero, Torre, Silva, Hart, you know, the classic real big players in that Man City side. The spine is still there, and they've really just bulked it out outside of it, and Pellegrini's done a really good job despite all the kind of criticism around him at the start of the season, saying well, they should have let him go. I think Pellegrini has really now turned people back on his side, so it's an A for Manchester City. Next up then, it's the big boys. It's Louis van Gaal's Manchester United. United. What are you doing? Paying 36 million for Anthony Martial. Why can't you see that's a bad choice? 15 million for Charlie Austin. You've spent 21 million pound more on a player who really is a winger. I know you get these Thierry Henrys who he can play up front. He is a winger. He is completely a winger. Martial can play up front, but he hasn't played there properly. He'll need growing in that position. He'll need developing, learning what to do in that position. And Manchester United haven't got that time. They've tried to bring someone in who can make a real impact. He's the new number 9 of Man United, for God's sake. And 36 million on Anthony Martial, I can't get my head around it. There are people who've got 40 million pound, 50 million pound buyout clauses in their contract. I'm talking Marco Reus, I'm talking Cavani, I'm talking Higuain, people with big buyout clauses who they could have got, and I don't know why they've spent. I mean, like I said, Charlie Austin, 15 million, will get more goals this season, proven, I promise you. And if Charlie Austin doesn't get more goals last season, so when he got 18 last season in QPR, if Martial now, let's take away what, 4 games they've played, if he doesn't get over 16 goals, if he gets over, 16 goals, so if he gets 17 Premier League goals this season, then I'll get Anthony Martial tattooed on the back of my leg, because it will not happen. He will not score more goals than Austin did, and for me it's a waste of money, United paying that much for a winger, because he just isn't that main player who can play up front. Yes, people saying Rooney can drop behind him, they've got Depay and people there, but a waste of money for me. And for United, I think it's been a poor window. I think it's been an underwhelming window. They've held on to De Gea, but at what cost? I mean, is it going to disrupt the squad? Valdez is still there as well. Is that going to disrupt the squad? I really do think it's been a poor window for him. Yes, I know they brought in Schneidlin, who again is someone I think is really overrated. Schneidlin, I haven't seen him make massive impact. I know he's grown as a player since he came to Southampton, but I think it was more of a surprise element. But he did well, is why people said he did well. Schweinsteiger hasn't got the legs anymore to finish 90 minutes. Darmian is their real quality signing. Darmian's a really, really good right back, and I think he will be a great signing for him. I know Luke Shaw is not signing from this summer, but back to full fitness, so for this transfer window, I'm going to give Manchester United a C. Newcastle United. Newcastle are next then. What do we think about Newcastle? Mitrovic came in. Bit of a bad boy. It's a signing I think was good at the time. Tovan is a really good player if he can develop. They spent a lot of money on him. And Mbemba from Anderlecht, they spent money on him. But Mitrovic is the main one they brought in to lead the line and become the next Alan Shearer, so to speak. And wow, the Gallagher again with wonderful goals. And all he's wowed on with at the moment is early baths. A red card, 2 yellows after a minute and a half isn't really the way you want to start your Premier League career, but I hope he will blossom, because he's a player I enjoyed watching in the Champions League for Anderlecht, and also on Eurogoals and the European Football Show when they showed some of his goals in the Belgian Pro League. So hopefully he can knuckle down, kind of get away from this bad boy image and become a player who a lot of people really say he has the potential to be. So Newcastle didn't really lose any players either. Obviously the only players they lost, they chose to lose really, didn't sell anyone. So for me, I'm going to go for a B for their transfer business in this window. I'm going to give them a B. And obviously the big one again for me is Wijnaldum, who came from PSV. I think Wijnaldum will turn out to be a great signing. He is a really talented player on the ball. He can manoeuvre the ball as he wants, slow the pace of the game down, and he is a player that Newcastle have needed kind of to fill that Cabella role. Now he's left and they haven't had for quite a while. That player can sit off the striker and score goals. Next up then, Norwich. Now Norwich I do think did poor business this window. They haven't massively improved their squad. I think they came up with the best squad from the Championship, but I don't think they've now improved on that squad that came up. I'm saying that because the players they brought in on world beaters, Robbie Brady being £7 million for him is something I'll never get my head around. I know it's modern football, but £7 million for Robbie Brady, I'm not sure myself. They didn't really lose too many players either, and it was a bit of a dump squid for Norwich in the end, the transfer deadline day especially. So Norwich I'm going to give a C to. Next up, Southampton then. Southampton brought in on deadline day Virgil van Dijk as their main signing. Van Dijk, I don't think that's a good signing. Southampton fans, I'm afraid to say that. I've seen him play in the Champions League qualifying rounds this season. He was unbelievably poor, and I couldn't believe that you'll pay £11.5 million for him. He's only played in the Scottish leagues before where he hasn't been tested. As there's a lot of Scottish pundits have said, he's never been tested at any real level before. So to pass judgment on him in the Premier League, you can't do that yet. He's a player who needs to grow in the Premier League. I imagine Southampton will stick him straight in at centre-half, and I don't think he's good enough, especially not better than some players they already have at the squad. I think Yoshida's a better centre-half than Van Dijk is. Away from that, they haven't made too many inroads again, like I said, in the transfer market, bringing in the bits and bobs to go around their squad. I think a striker could have come in to help Pele and Long. They haven't really lost players now in the late part of the transfer window while the season started. Yes, they lost Klein and Schneiderlin, and I mean their squad's been decimated in previous years by the transfer window, so for them this wasn't really that bad. But yeah, you know, Southampton, I'm going to give them a B for transfer business, just for kind of balancing it out, and I think they've just filled in the gaps that they've needed to fill. Tottenham now, Tottenham, oh dear, Pochettino. Pochettino, if you're watching this video, you've got one striker now. You've bought Son in from Leverkusen. He's not a striker. He's a winger. I said it about Martial, I'll say it about Son. He's not a goal scorer. You've got Harry Kane there. I know, Soldado, you don't want to keep him. Buy a striker. I'm not a Tottenham fan, but it would annoy me. Buy a striker. Kane's got so much football to play this year. England, you got all the qualifiers. Obviously, we can qualify tomorrow night against San Marino, but you know, he's got all the qualifiers. Europa League campaign, depending how far they go on that, everything. He's got to kind of fit round his schedule. So why didn't you buy a striker? I'll never know. So just for that fact, and there's no point to expand on anything else Tottenham did, just for that fact of not buying a striker, it's a C for Spurs, and they should be embarrassed about not bringing a striker in this window. Next then, Stoke. Stoke did loads of business this window. Stoke, straight away, I'm going to say it's an A for you. You bought in Shaqiri, a player who's world class. Afellay, a player who was world class and still might be. You held on to your big players. Nzonzi's the one you let go, which I think could be crucial though this season. That's why I'm giving you an A-, actually not an A, because Nzonzi should have stayed. But you balanced it out with the signing of Shaqiri, who's a player I really rate. So it's an A- for Stoke City in this transfer window. Sunderland next. Sunderland, Advocaat said he needed more players in, especially a striker, and he didn't really get his wish. DeAndre Yedlin on loan on deadline day is a good signing. I think Leicester should have gone for him, punted for him, my team. But like I said, Sunderland didn't buy a massive striker that they needed. Fletcher and Graham aren't the kind of strikers who can back up Defoe if Defoe gets injured, so they should have brought someone in, a massive striker who can score the goals for them. Yes, they brought in Villa and they brought in Lentz, who I thought would be a really good signing, but it hasn't proven, it hasn't paid dividends, those signings. So for me, I'm going to go for a B- for Sunderland. Swansea up next. Swansea didn't bring too many players in again. I know this is a repetitive theme, and they didn't let any of their key players go. A main thing for them, they didn't let Gomes go or any of their key players. It was really a consolidation window for Swansea, just making sure they didn't lose too many players, and they did bring players in who can make a difference. I mean, Montero, we know last season but made a real difference, and one of the main ones is Ayew, who's they've brought in and has made a real difference to this squad already, kind of making it that Nathan Dyer, who's been a staple of their squad anymore, is now had to go out on loan. So Ayew is a wonderful signing, and for that reason I'm going to give them a B+. Watford were the big, not spenders, but brought in the most players this window. They brought in a lot of players, 15 players in total. And is it too much for overall on the squad? That's the question. I think it is. I know a few of the players actually bought in have gone back out on loan. Vidra, for example, has gone out on loan, and Miguel León have gone out on loan. But I think it's too many players to bring into a squad that really was a settled squad that got promoted. I mean, you look at Deeney. For the past few seasons, he's been their clinical goal scorer, and I think they've brought too many players in that will disrupt the squad. I'm not saying that they won't stay up, which I don't actually think they will, but you know, I think they've brought in too many players that will disrupt the squad. It could turn out to be massive business, and I could be the fool. And if that happens, come back to this video and comment below saying I was the fool if Watford do stay up brilliantly with these players bringing in. But what I see, they haven't got enough going forward, and I'm not sure if that's because Deeney can't adapt to the Premier League, or if because they didn't bring someone in to help support him. Yes, I know they brought in a Club Brugge striker on deadline day, but will he really be the difference? Didn't get many goals in the Belgian league, so what's to say he'll do it in the Premier League, which is evidently a harder league. So for Watford, I'm going to give him a B, really, because it's an unknown. Who knows what it's going to be. West Brom, men. West Brom, the big story on deadline day was that they didn't let Berahino go, and Berahino said he wouldn't play for West Brom again. But I think for West Brom it's massive they held on to Berahino. Yes, they've bought in Rondon from Zenit, who's a really top-class striker. But I do think holding on to Berahino could turn out to be the most crucial bit of business done this whole deadline day. If he can score goals for West Brom that can fire him to safety, because I do think they still are in danger of getting relegated, West Brom, this season. They didn't bring in too much other talent that I would get excited about if I was a West Brom fan. But I would get excited about Rondon. I think he's got a lot of quality that this season could prove pivotal for them. So holding on to him and not losing Berahino, it's going to be an A- for West Brom in this transfer window, because I think Rondon will be a really, really good striker. He's done it for Zenit over the past few years. He's done it where he's been at Rubin Kazan and when he was at Malaga. So I think he'll score goals definitely for West Brom this season. Finally then, it's West Ham. West Ham, the busy boys, the Cockney dealers, the wheelers and dealers on deadline day. They did it all. Victor Moses, Jelavic, Michael Antonio. They brought them all in. Now, what do I think about the people they did bring in? The whole transfer window for West Ham, I think, has been a success. And I think all West Ham fans have said that as well. It's been a success for them. They've bought in, and like I said, let's start with the deadline day ones. Jelavic, Antonio, Moses. Moses on loan. Moses is a player I've always rated since his Wigan days. He's really, really skillful on the ball, and I think he's played at too much of a high level, if that makes sense. But he didn't get the ball as much at Chelsea, and when he went out to Liverpool on loan, and he was better at Stoke last season, as we all saw. So I think that's a good signing for West Ham. Antonio, a really big, strong, powerful winger. Only time will tell if he can cut it out in the Premier League, but the early signs for me watching him in the Championship is I think he can. Jelavic isn't one I really understand. Jelavic, you know, he's kind of mumbled around the Premier League for a few years. He'll get you 5, 6, 7 goals a season maybe, but do they need that? I know it's for cover for Sacco and Valencia and people like that, but I'd have gone for someone other than Jelavic. But the biggest signing for them, Dimitri Payet. Payet will be world class. I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone this time next summer to a massive team, because Payet is wonderful to watch. He's a magician on the ball. He can spread the ball. He can hold up the play. He can score goals. He really is an assist and goal king. And Payet was such a massive transfer for them. I think it'll push West Ham up to top 10 in the league. And I know, obviously, they haven't won a game at home yet. They've lost them both and won both away. But I think their form will start to improve. And I think Payet will be the key to that. So just because of that Payet signing, I'm going to give West Ham an A in this transfer window. That's all then for this little video about the transfer window. If you want to know any more about any of these players, then get yourself this European Football Yearbook. It's got like a comprehensive piece on every league in Europe. So if you bought any players from abroad, you can find them in that, the European Football Yearbook, available in all good and bad bookstores. That'll tell you all you need to know about the latest signings for your club. Anyway, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about your club's transfer window. Like the video, whatever the reason was for your transfer window, and subscribe to me. You never know, you might like it. And even if you don't like it, try it again. And if you don't like it, try again until you succeed. I'll see you in the next one.